Even though I've been asking and begging and calling for the end of Arrow for quite some time now, the fact that it's a reality, the fact that we now know that it will end after season 8, I've been thinking. It's been on my mind ever since how this show could end in a satisfying way to please the fans and please people who have stuck by this for 8 years now. So here are 5 ways that Arrow can end on a high note for its final season. Number 5, stop with the flashbacks and flash forwards. I enjoyed the flashbacks in season 1 and season 2 because they were all connected to the main story and it made sense over how it was connected, how it was the struggle of Oliver, the inner turmoil that he was going through, and how it all tied into Deathstroke. It made sense. But come season 3, they take him off the island and bring him to Japan. And then they bring him back to the island in season 4 to have him deal with magic. And then season 5, he's in Russia. What is the point of all of this convoluted mess, especially the explanation over how Oliver was rescued and how it was planned out and how it wasn't what we were led to believe in the pilot episode? Just very disappointing. Now we've been doing flash forwards, which is some of the most unwarranted, uninteresting. Every time they show up, these scenes of the future, and we're seeing older characters of people that I don't give a fuck about. Number 4, get rid of Team Arrow. I like the idea of Oliver having a team at the beginning because it was something different. It was something original when it came to superheroes. But now we're at the point where they've relied too much on him having a team and him having partners. This show proved to be at its strongest in the earlier seasons when it was Oliver by himself, when it was him going up against villains by himself and having to persevere and deal with it on his own. Characters like Dinah Drake, really, what does she mean to the plot? What does she mean to the overall structure of the show? Renee, I can't tell you how sick of this guy I am. I talk about it each and every time that I can get the chance. I don't like the actor. I don't like the character. And Curtis is somebody that I want to like, I want to get into, but he too feels like he's just here just to be here. I think this show and this final season would be so much stronger if it focused purely on Oliver Queen. Number 3, if you are going to focus on other characters, focus on the core characters, the most likable characters. I'm talking about Diggle, who has been there since episode 1. Laurel Lance, who technically isn't the real Laurel Lance, right? She's Earth 2, she's Black Siren, but at least Katie Cassidy is still there. I still think that you need to have her have more of a connection to Oliver or more of a story with him because right now they barely interact. It's just weird. Roy Harper, you need to involve him more and bring him back because that actor is likable. And also bring back Thea. This is his sister, for God's sakes. Why did you even write her off the show? She should be there. She better be there. If this is a send-off for the show and the character, and if you don't bring her back, then it's a major problem. I don't care about his new sister that they introduced. No, Thea is the one who has to be there. Number 2, give us a badass villain. Whoever you decide to make the main villain, it needs to be somebody good. It needs to be somebody that's believable and threatening and somebody that can go toe-to-toe with Oliver. You can have other one-off characters and villains if you want, like, for example, White Rabbit, who is a more recent villain. She's been with Batman, but I think the show could use some female villains. Dr. Death, another Batman villain that's very creepy, especially when he becomes full-formed in the Death look. I'd love to see what they would make him look like in live action. Onomatopoeia, who just that name alone, you almost want to hear Felicity or somebody say that name out loud, but he's a crazy killer and he's somebody who can imitate sounds around him, so that can provide some horror-like scenes. Magpie is another Batman DC character, another female who is a jewelry thief. They introduced her on Gotham, and they did nothing with her. She just showed up there and got killed off. I think Arrow could do a much, much better job. And Catman is somebody that they haven't used yet. He is a hunter who turns into a villain. If you can make him capable, if you can make him a physical threat for Oliver, that could be something interesting. But the number one thing that you have to do in the final season of Arrow to make it good is Oliver needs a hero's end. The big rumor and the big theory that is probably the case, Oliver is going to die in the Crisis on Infinite Earths plot, the big crossover that's going to happen. But you need to give him a hero's end. You need to give him a hero's journey. Here's a guy who started the universe, and we have to show respect for Stephen Amell. This guy, I can't imagine what his work schedule was like, how much fighting and how many scenes he had to do, since he is the main character and he has been the guy in all of these episodes of not only his own show, but showing up on all the other shows. He has been the face of the CW DC world for so long, and if he is going to die, if he is going to go out, we have to make it a big deal. We have to make it care. I want to cry when this character gets killed off. That's how much I want to be invested. That's how much they have to make me invested. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the 5 ways that I think Arrow can end on a high note. Do you agree with my list? Do you have anything that you want to see for next season? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Oh yeah. Today I feel Super Bowl. Feel it in your mind, you lose control. Feel it in your breast, and you super soul. I don't say it a lot, but I know